Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another TBR video. It feels like it's been so long since I've made a TBR video, but it is the 1st of June today and it is time to pick my June TBR. I'm not gonna lie, I still don't know why I make these videos because the last 2 months have been so unsuccessful with my TBR, like it's not even funny. In May, I read 0 out of the 6 books that I set myself on my TBR, but that's because I was in a massive reading / life slump. So I'm hoping that this month goes a lot better, and I'm actually doing something new to choose my TBR this month that I haven't actually tried yet, and that is using these TBR scratch off cards that I made. They don't look very good because I just printed them at home, so like they're not very bold or anything, but I can still see what they are. So this is completely inspired by Sarah Caroli. I saw her do this a few months ago and I just loved the idea. So pretty much I have made some TBR prompt cards, so it's kind of like a TBR jar but you scratch it off, and then I've also made some cards that just have book titles on them of some books that I've been putting off reading for a while. So I think the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to pick 4 TBR prompts and then 2 book title prompts, if that makes any sense. So we will have 6 books altogether for the TBR, and hopefully I'm more successful this month. I think I'm going to do 1 card at a time and then pick the books for each prompt as I go, because that just makes the most sense for me. So I'm going to start off with the TBR prompt cards first. So I'm going to choose 4 of these. I'm going to just pick 4 out randomly and then we'll scratch them off one by one. I'm really hoping I don't get double ups, because I know a couple of the prompts I put in a couple, and I'm really hoping I don't get double ups, because obviously with like a TBR jar you can just swap one out if you get a double, but with this I'm already scratching it off, so I'm just going to end up with 2 of the same prompt if that happens. So I'm literally just going to use my nail to scratch it off because I didn't really come prepared for this video. So the first prompt, and I've just written underneath these little scratch off stickers that I bought. So the first prompt is a book with a 1-word title. Ignore the messy writing, it's because I had to write so small. I feel like this is actually a really good one, because I feel like a lot of books that are on my TBR are only 1-word titles. So I'm going to choose some books and then we'll see which one to pick. Okay, that was actually a lot harder than I thought, but I do have 2 books that fit the prompt. So I have Reckless by Elsie Silver, which is the 4th book in the Chestnut Spring series. I've been making my way through the Chestnut Spring series from last year to this year, and I'm really enjoying my time reading them. I think they're such cute, fast-paced romances and like the perfect palette cleansers, and they're also just very easy to read when you're in a slump anyway, so I think this would be a good choice. And then the other book I have is Legendary by Stephanie Garber. Little backstory, I actually read Once Upon a Broken Heart and The Ballad of Never After before going into the Caraval trilogy. So I've read Caraval and it was a little bit disappointing. I didn't love it as much as I thought I would, so that's why I've been putting off reading the 2nd book for quite a while now. But I do need to finish this trilogy so I can reread the first 2 books in the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy and then read the 3rd book. But because I'm in a slump and I need some books that I'm actually going to read, I'm going to go with Reckless by Elsie Silver. I think this is a definite read for the month. I think I'll definitely be able to get to this. So this is the first book for the TBR. Second prompt, I'm actually so scared for this. What does it say? The next prompt is a book that is more than 500 pages, which definitely doesn't help when you're in a slump and you're trying to read a really long book, but I definitely have a lot of books that could be under this prompt. Okay, I have 3 options for this one, and these are 3 books that I really want to read. Starting with the first one, because technically I've started the audiobook and I'm a couple of chapters in, so it's kind of cheating a little bit. We have Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. So this is the 5th book in the Harry Potter universe, and if you don't know, it's my first time reading the series and experiencing this world, and I don't even know anything about what happens at the end of the series or anything, so I'm trying to avoid spoilers the best I possibly can. Because this is such a long one, like this one's like over 800 pages, I decided to listen to the audiobook and read it at the same time, but this is definitely an option if I want to cheat a little bit. The next one is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. I've been seeing such amazing things about this book. I have literally seen nothing but raving reviews about this, and I don't even really know what it's about. All I know is that it's a fantasy, and Fairy Loot is also coming out in a special edition of this, I believe in like a week, and I'm gonna order it. I'm gonna just predict that I'm gonna love this book and order the special edition because it is gorgeous. And the last one is Culty by Mariana Zapata. I have loved the Mariana Zapata books that I've read so far, but I do feel like reading a really long romance may not be a very good option for this month. I have heard some really great things about this book in particular though. I feel like a lot of people say that this is one of their favorites from her. I think I'm gonna go with When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. I don't want to cheat, and I also feel like I'll actually really want to get to this month. So this is the 2nd book to choose for the TBR. Okay, prompt number 3. I feel like I should have like set up my camera so you could actually see me scratching these, but you're just gonna have to trust that I'm scratching them properly. You know what? I actually really like this one. This one is a new release book. I feel like June actually has quite a few book releases, so I'm actually going to look them up because obviously I won't have physical copies for them, but I'm going to pick a June book release for this one. Okay, so some of the books we have that are releasing in June is Daydream by Hannah Grace, which is the 3rd book in the Maple Hills series. I have Not in Love Love by Ali Hazelwood, which I actually have a physical ARC for, but Ali Hazelwood's books are very hit or miss, so I don't think I'm going to choose that. And Leather and Lark by Bryn Weaver, which comes after Butcher and Blackbird. So for this one, it's pretty much out of Daydream or Leather and Lark. I think I'm going to go with Daydream. Hey guys, editing me coming in. I found out after filming this video that Daydream by Hannah Grace is actually not out in Australia yet, and it's not going to be out until August. And although I've received early copies of Hannah Grace's books before, I can't guarantee that I'm going to receive it this month or receive it at all. So instead for this prompt, I'm just going to do Leather and Lark by Bryn Weaver. I feel like I'm cheating a little bit, but it's literally impossible for me to read Daydream, so I'm just going to use Leather and Lark. But the third book I'm going to add to the TBR is... Okay, last prompt card to scratch off. I'm actually really nervous for like the book title cards because they're like books that I don't really have much pushing me to read them. Oh, okay. The last prompt is a book as part of a series, which is another one that is actually really good. I love that for me. I am in the middle of so many different book series, like probably like over 15 different book series, which is crazy. So I have a lot of options for this one. Okay, I have 4 options for this one, which are all books that I really want to read as well. Some of these books are the start of series because technically it says a book in a series. My camera's gonna die, so I'm just gonna switch out my battery. Okay, I'm back. I apologize if the camera is in like a slightly different position. I obviously can't see if it is until I go to edit this video. Anyway, the first book that I have that's part of a series, that is a series I'm in the middle of, is Kiss the Sky by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I've been putting off reading this book for over a year now. I think I started this series April last year. I read the first 3 books, absolutely loved them, and I don't know what's put me off about reading this one because I know it's a lot of people's favorites out of the Addicted / Calloway Sisters series, but for some reason I've just been really intimidated, but I think it could be a good option for this month. I have been having some urges to read this recently. Then we have Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas, which I think was on my TBR for May as well. This will be the first book that I read in the Throne of Glass series. This is the order I'm going to read it in. I'm going to read this first. I know there's some very conflicting emotions on the order that you should read this in, but I just don't think it makes sense to read the Assassin's Blade first, but this is definitely a good option. The Atlas Paradox by Olivia Blake. This is the second book that comes after the Atlas 6, which I originally didn't even know that was part of a series, but it's part of a 3-book series so far, and this is the second book in the series. I really loved the Atlas 6, and I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did. It definitely really surprised me, and it's set up for a really good second book, so I'm definitely excited to go into this one. The last one is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, which a friend actually annotated for me. I read Six of Crows really recently, and again I was very pleasantly surprised. I very much loved it, and I did not read the Shadow and Bone trilogy first. I just went straight into Six of Crows and I understood everything, and I really enjoyed my experience. So I've been really excited to read this as well because I feel like the first book's set up for a really good second book. But I'm just like looking at them and I think I'm gonna go with Kiss the Sky by Krista and Becca Ritchie. I just need that extra push to read this book, and I feel like if it's on my TBR, it'll push me to read it even more. So this is the one I'm gonna go with for that one. Okay, so now that we've gotten those 4 books that are chosen from prompts, I'm going to choose 2 of the scratch off cards that have book titles underneath. I am so scared for this one. Like seriously, I have never felt more nervous to choose book prompts in my entire life. So let's choose 2 of these cards. Okay, 2 of them are coming out together. I think that's a sign. I need to use both of those ones. So the first book title card, I'm not even gonna look until I've completely scratched it off because I'm scared. Hopefully like I actually scratch it off properly. This is one that I've been wanting to read, but at the same time I don't know if it's going to be good for a slump, and that is Dragon Rider by Taryn Matharu. I have actually had this physical ARC for like quite a few months now. I think I got it in like December and I just never got around to reading it before it came out. So I think it came out in April or maybe even May. Like it came out very recently, and it has like really intrigued me since I got this ARC because it just looks stunning. I think it's going to be an amazing book, and I feel like it's going to be very similar to Fourth Wing, which I really enjoyed. So I am excited for this, and I do think that I will really like this book, but I just don't know if it's the right month to get this book on my TBR because obviously I'm trying to get out of a slump, but it's going on the TBR anyway. And the last book title, I am so nervous. Oh my gosh, that is so weird because this one is another book that I received as a physical ARC, and that is Feybound by Sarah Al-Arifi. I probably said that incorrectly. I honestly have no clue what this book is about, but it does look really good. Like the cover looks really amazing. This TBR has 3 romances and 3 fantasies, which I honestly love, but I'm really nervous for this one. I don't know if I'm gonna get to this one just because I honestly haven't seen any reviews on this, and I think the book would be out by now because this isn't even like an ARC copy, but I did get it early. But that was the last book chosen for my TBR, so I'm going to go through them again quickly. We have Reckless by Elsie Silver, Kiss the Sky by Krista and Becca Ritchie, When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker, Faybound by Sarah Al Arifi, again I probably said that wrong, Dragon Rider by Taran Matharu, and to be honest, I think this could be a very, very successful TBR month. I feel like there's a lot of these books that I actually really want to read very soon. Sometimes when I choose my TBR, the prompts give me books that I don't really want to read. There's definitely a few of these that I'm very excited to read, and they're kind of like on my priority TBR. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed this new way of me choosing my TBR. Once I finish off all of these cards, I'm definitely going to make them a little bit better so they look a little bit more aesthetic. But I honestly really enjoyed doing this. It's kind of like doing like a scratchy, like where you win a couple of dollars. So like I really enjoyed that part about it, and I definitely think I'm going to choose my TBR this way in some future months as well. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next one.